So as you know, we're going to be praying the Rosary before the 10:15 Mass once a month at St. Anne's. So sometimes I get the question, well, why the Rosary? Isn't that an ancient medieval prayer? And why are you bringing us back into the Dark Ages and all that? Once Louis Pasteur was in a train on his way down to the institute, the academic institute where he worked, and he was praying the Rosary. And there was a young guy got on the train and was kind of making fun out of him. And this was at the height of the Enlightenment and so on. And he said, don't you know that's an ancient prayer, blah, blah, blah. And he was just insulting that he would be, so backward and so on. And at the end, Louis Pasteur stood up and said, well, thank you for your opinion and thank you for sharing this time with me. If you ever want to talk more, just come and visit me. Hand him his business card and got off the train. So when the young man looked at the card and saw it was Louis Pasteur, he felt pretty chagrined. Louis Pasteur was this great man of science, but also a man who prayed the Rosary every day, went to Mass every day, was a great man of God. And even I heard once somebody from our own present day, who's actually obviously important here in Wisconsin, I heard that Vince Lombardi went to the daily Mass as well and prayed the Rosary every day as well. So, great Packer, that's good for him, it's good for us. So that kind of gives us an insight. And the Rosary is a wonderful prayer. If you have time, you could look at the document that John Paul II wrote. John Paul II, who obviously is a very modern pope and a wonderful man, wrote an apostolic exhortation called The Rosary of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Rosarium Virginis Mariae. And he talked about all the different ways in which the Rosary can be prayed, but especially that he said it's a wonderful way of bringing the family together. So at the end of that document, he talked about kind of, if you looked at the image of the Rosary, you can see each bead as a day of the week or the weeks of the year. So as I travel through time, I'm accompanied by Mary and by Jesus. He said you could also see the beads as all the other people in your life. So as you pray the Rosary, you're kind of related to all these other people, so you're praying for them. And then he also talked about the Rosary as discursive prayer, which is conversation with God, as meditative prayer, where I'm thinking about the mysteries as I'm praying them, and also as contemplative prayer, where in a mysterious way I enter into the very presence of God. So John Paul II, who was this great mystic, said the Rosary is such a wonderful prayer and a varied prayer, so you can use it in many different ways. You can pray a decade here and a decade there throughout the day, or you can pray together as a family, as a way of being able to have something active where the kids, I know that families that pray together with their children, the kids love to pray the Rosary. So those are some of the reasons. It's not an ancient prayer, as though any prayer could be medieval, and so anytime we take time to speak with God, any way that we can do that is good, and the Rosary is an excellent prayer. It probably is, I think, one of the most powerful prayers that we have. So that's why we pray the Rosary.